Okay, and we are live. So everyone, welcome. That last session looked amazing, and so I'm excited to present another one for you. So Antonio, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, you may start your presentation.
Thank you so much to you and to everybody. Thanks for having me. My name is Antonio Vantaggiato. I'm a Puerto Rican Italian working at Sagrado Corazon Sacred Heart in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And if you're wondering why I titled my presentation like that, well, there's just one reason, because I could. And I just was looking finally at last to quote that wonderful line from Lewis Carroll. And I can do that. And immediately, as soon as I begin thinking with AI, especially after the sessions of yesterday, I imagine this sort of mythical beast, the Jabberwocky, as a menace, as a very unfriendly beast. So, but it's not. I don't believe it is actually. So, anyhow, you are all going to die. So that's the basic stuff, right? And of course, I can't, and I'll stop quoting movies after this one. Okay, I can't help myself. This is one of the first thoughts about AI. Okay, about the mutiny able capability of an AI, and it has been actually forever here with humankind. Noah Yuval Harari, who's ever present everywhere, believes that actually AI has hacked into human language, whatever that means actually. But since it's the first intelligence that happens to be able to process and somehow express itself with human language. And he says that's not very comfortable knowing that that's happening. And I may believe it also because other people are saying this sort of stuff. Will AI make you stupid? That was The Economist. Not that I believe much in what The Economist has to say, but nevertheless, there's all sorts of issues come up against AI. Okay, of course the environment one is very heavy, and true. Unfortunately, this is happening in Mexico and Ireland, and it's really bothering. But same thing. I mean, when Google and Amazon set up their own data power centers, nobody said anything about the environment, about water, or anything, right? So we tend to be a little bit biased. And of course, AI is a sort of a mythical beast that remembers us of Frankenstein and all that myths. Right. Chomsky says also about a false promise. Of course, this is from 2 years ago, but still, I don't think he changed his idea. And then, of course, the usual guys who say that the web is dying. And they have been saying that basically since the 90s. So, and the web is much alive there, even if sometimes it stumbles somehow. So I love this image. Oh, by the way, hello to Alan. Love to see you there. And I'm actually, thanks to my telephone, I can see the chat at the same time that I'm giving the presentation. So I'm very happy about that. And of course, I mean, we are a little bit worried about other sort of AI happening, and soldiers and robots are what bothers me most. And then, of course, deceiving people, we are very much used to that. So nothing new in that sense, but still it's very worrisome. Still, there's no doubt that one asks, isn't that all a sort of smokescreen to not to talk about other stuff that are probably more terrifying than anything that I have just said? And I'm sure this is true. So our intelligence is really diminishing at the same time that the artificial one is augmenting. And I'm afraid to be able to say a lot of strange debates are happening. Okay, banning ChatGPT in class. I mean, who may have had that idea to ban something within a classroom? I cannot really imagine whose idea is that. Well, I have a couple of names in mind, but I think that that's really why. So the word banning should be banned from school, if I may. So let's begin from the starting point when I don't want to disrespect neither the conference nor Jim nor anybody from Reclaim, but rewilding the network, I had to look for the name in the dictionary, and so I asked ChatGPT what he thought about rewilding in the network, and he wrote me a lot of beautiful words together that make some sense. So that's nice. Why I use the word bullshit? Well, because it has been said that the non-conscious of ChatGPT, the non-understanding capability of ChatGPT means that our blatters are bullshit. And that probably might be said of anybody of us, because we utter sentences by essentially by pattern matching. We hear our teachers and we match their tone, we match their way of saying things, we match the way we are presented stuff for the quizzes, for the testing, for the exams, etc., etc. So that's not really a prerogative of this kind of GPTs. So now let me go back to the web. Okay, in 1993, so a long time ago, in Geneva, the people from the CERN, the place where the web was born, signed an agreement saying that all the software they produced for the web was to be put into the public domain. So that was a really beautiful act that they did. And what I'm very worried about is that today we are looking at another transformative situation in the world that does not come from a government-backed entity. By government, I mean backed from the state. The state usually are all of us. So, and instead, we are seeing, as it was already said various times in the conference, we have private companies that are not really interested in the progress of humankind. So we are in a situation where an event, which is AI, has been triggering all sorts of innovation and also disruptions, exactly like it happened with the web from the early 90s. And that seems to be the Far West now. So everything is possible. As soon as OpenAI opened up Sora, everything, all hell broke loose. And well, I will tell you a little bit more about that, but that's what worries me a lot. At the same time, I see a lot of things that are in common from that period of the web. The excitement to create, to do stuff and to publish it. It was awesome. Early 90s, they were a wonderful period. And now we're doing the same. We are creating stuff all together. We are mixing and remixing stuff all together. So why am I so interested into AI? Well, I'm in love with this guy, Alan Turing, a Scottish guy from who is in the 50s, published this compelling article, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, and that I know of, he was the first to publish the question, can machines think? So the way he postulated it in the paper is through a simple idea: can thought be generated within machine? So he didn't think about simulating thought, about copying the way humans do think. So that's a huge question. In the Turing's time, of course, there was no possibility to make an experiment and try that idea. Is it possible or not? Actually, nobody really answered that question yet completely. So the new technology of GPTs are a transformation of the basic neural nets ideas. The neural nets idea were copied literally from the architecture of our brains and our neurons. And I want to say that we are advancing pretty much, and through the computing perspective of that, together with the neurobiological perspective, we're beginning to understand a little more of how the brain generates intelligence and thought and conscience. But we don't know a lot of stuff. So the neural model seems to be incomplete, to say the least, to produce real intelligence. And by real intelligence, I don't know what I'm talking about, really. Okay, and I think nobody really knows. So we're talking a lot today about AGI. We should be talking more about strong or weak AI, but these are labels and they don't really interest us very much. I would instead say that I would be happy from the point of view of a scientific question being resolved if and when and whether an intelligence can be said conscious, whatever that means. So now I'm talking about an idea that I'm seemingly seeing everywhere. Could Gen AI be an illuminated spirit that helps us? Could it be that, even if it's not that intelligent? In one of the ideas that I sent forward for this presentation is the idea that we all in higher ed work with the comprehension idea. So what does it mean to comprehend something? One possible definition could be: I comprehend something if I can act autonomously and effectively upon what other people or my inner voices are saying. And but of course that's a point of view, and there are many other ways of seeing and understanding what comprehension means. But still, that's a very important word. So the endeavor itself of searching for comprehension is worth fighting for, is worth working on. Or is it an illuminated remixer? Think of Sora again. A lot of people got offended when they began seeing their videos. Probably, I don't know if the offense was right or wrong. I have no idea. But, and definitely there's a huge scandal of fake videos. But I think we will normalize that, and I will not get offended anymore when I see the naked version of myself dancing. Be- because I can simply say to everybody, well, that's not me. So I really can't see the huge problem. It may be a limitation of myself. Anyhow, the other day I had a wonderful conversation with ChatGPT, and I am a lover of Sandor Márai, a Hungarian writer. And I had read The Seagull, a novel that unfortunately is not translated into English, but you can read it in Spanish or Italian, and have ChatGPT translate it to you, by the way. So and the conversation was so enriching and so nice. Surely there were mistakes into the conversation that both ChatGPT and myself had, but he really enriched my experience very much by showing me ideas on the novel, ideas on the literature of the time in Central Europe between the two world wars, and it was really fascinating. So he also compared Murray to other writers, and so I began learning a lot about other stuff. And I'm sure that everybody has had this sorts of conversation with Gen AI. Once I even interviewed Dr. Freud himself, and it was at the early stages, but it was very, very nice. Now, talking back about teaching, we of course love teaching as content delivery, right? So, but a little bit, Neil Postman remembers us that teaching is a subversive activity. So something and somehow we need to provoke that subversion. Subverse means putting things upside down, literally. So I'm going now to. I don't pretend to inspire anybody in that sense with my examples, but I will show you what I've been doing. So you remember Wendy Carlos when he did, by the way, all the or some of the Beethoven and Bach versions in the Clockwork Orange, the Kubrick movie, on the Moog, and that's the Moog that he was working on. Because she is a woman, and so I said, this is exactly what's happening now, at least to me. I'm having a lot of fun. So the first thing that I began doing, and that's a surprise also for Alan and Jim and everybody of the Daily Create crew, since I had already bothered Alan yearly to help me doing that thing about photography, a photo every day in my digital storytelling course. So I decided to ask not ChatGPT in this case, but Replit. As you can see, we developed an app there, and it works beautifully. And I, from that, and it's based on Mastodon, by the way. So I probably in the next version. I want to extend it to Blue Sky too, but it worked beautifully, and students were in love with that. In my case, the Photo Cada Dia lasts 30 days, and it's really a nice game that we're all playing. And it has a roster, the clasificación, you see, point-based competence, and so on. So that was a nice thing that the generative AI did under my guidance. And it was really beautiful, a beautiful project. And then I said, well, if I'm used to build with WordPress a website for each course I teach, I can do that also with AI. And not necessarily or not only with WordPress. So whenever I need to use a blog as a metaphor for discussion or for publication, etc., I use that. But if not, I can simply build a web-based. And so I began building. I teach also an AI course usually. And so I said, I want my students to have ad hoc environment to understand algorithms, understand and practice with some programming, etc. So I developed with Replit, and Replit uses Claude, by the way. So we developed search logic and recommendation systems, and we still have to do a lot of work, but still it's going on, and it's very nice, very pleasant, and I have great discussions with this guy. It's really like having a very good assistant that listens to me. And this is another part of the resources and learning materials that we're putting together, including a curated blogs and podcasts collection. So this is another project that I'm doing. As you can understand, I'm in a full spree about building stuff. So any idea that I have or my students have, I try to put in practice, and it's a wonderful possibility that I'm bestowed upon. So we have a Build a Bot project. Every group chose one of the three projects that you see here. In fact, there's one project who are building a devil's advocate bot. So, but how can I help students doing that? So I wanted to build a bot myself to serve as a coach for them. And so here comes the AI, the generative AI capabilities. And here's the project coach that was deployed, just a few days ago for the first time. And they're still learning to use it, and they're still understanding how it works. And students are, of course, working with it too. So it's really nice. And I'm building web pages within my course, and just for the sake of having links outside of Canvas, that I enjoy that very much. So to make them see that life is a bit bigger than Canvas. Assignments, exams, etc. So I'm looking to be diverse and creative a little bit. So that's my presentation for today. I hope I'm in time. I think I am. So, and I lost the okay. Let me see. Um, Let me see if there's any question or anything that you guys may want to say. Oh, Alan has been driving. Okay, hope. So you had it built. You a daily create. Yes, yes. I will share the links. Okay, Yes, I will. They are on the presentation, but I will share them, of course. So that's it. Again, thank you so much. I think just perhaps one little note. I think there must be something more to the models, the large language models that are being built now. One guy who was working with OpenAI just said. Karpati just said that it seems to him that we're reaching a sort of elementary stem of cervical cortex in comparing Gen AI to the brain. And that may be true, but we have still a lot of work to do, and we still don't know how intelligence, how autonomous, full conscious intelligence is generated by non-conscious, non-intelligent, and non-autonomous bricks. And so I'm fascinated by this thing since my university time, that I am fascinated with these ideas. And I think it's a very good thinking environment for schools and universities. So thanks again. And the microphone is back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Antonio. That was an amazing presentation. We will make sure to have any of the links in the presentation in the Discord, so y'all can check out that. And we will also put it, I believe, on the website. So we'll have all of those available. Thank you again. Round of applause in the chat for Antonio, and we'll head on to our next session.
Thanks to you. Thanks to all.
Nom nom nom.